Ta-da! Hey guys, we are back again. Look at that. Look at that, right? We're getting there, we're getting there, we're getting there. Alright, so what are we doing today? We're just going to do something fun, right? We're just going to keep making, keep creating, doing something fun. Hopefully it sparks a million other things. And we just keep having fun, right? So what am I making? Well, I opened up a can of worms, didn't I? When I opened up that container that had all different colored foils. So now I'm like, I don't know why I've never used them. So maybe it's time, right? So I don't remember where I bought this from. You know what? I'm going to set that right on top right there. But I bought this big... This all came in one order, okay? And it just had a ton of different colored foils. So you got yellow, kind of brassy, right? And you have pinks. And then you have this aqua. Well, I don't call that aqua. I don't know what that would be considered. I guess it would be considered aqua. And then you've got green. And then we have some purple. Ooh, that purple and aqua might look really good. So I'm trying to see if something sparks by pulling all these colors out. I mean, I love purple and green. But what would purple and aqua be like? That might actually look good. So I'm going to take a purple out. But yeah, as you can see, I've got a ton of these colors. And I think I've used them like once. Okay, we got a pink. Pink and yellow would look good. Or I can just take one of each color, right? And just throw them all together. Now this is a different green. So I guess the first thing to do is to find out what green would go with this purple the best. Okay, so that looks good. All right. And then you have this one, would look good too, right? So we'll pull both of those out. What other colors do we have? We have a regular green, which obviously looks really good with the purple too. And we got lots of them. And then we have a bag of silver. Okay, I don't want to use silver right now. I just want to start going through some of this stuff, because I don't think I've ever used it. I just bought silver foil for the glass world. Unfortunately, that glass, or that silver foil is 99.9% pure silver. And for one of those, 25 sheets of that is now, thank God I got it for $32. I've seen it online going up for $58 for like 25 sheets. And it's like, I am not paying for that. Okay, so this is kind of like that green, but more on the blue tint, right? So we got like a steel blue. All of this would look good with purple. Okay, so I think purple is going to be our main color. But we're going to throw in a bunch of different ones to go in there as well. So that's why I cut out a bunch of these little ones, because I wanted to add a bunch of different colors. And yes, it probably would be easier to just put this on. I know somebody asked me why I don't do this. Just lay the clay on the sheet. And that's probably because I do everything backwards. It's just who I am. Okay. I think I'm going to do one green. I might have to pull out some more purple. Definitely want to do this one. This is more of the blue one. And then we have this green one, right? And as you can see, I'm not pulling out a whole lot, because again, I make this stuff and then I'm done like after the first one. And I should just make it bigger and just put it aside somewhere. Now, I could use pink, but I feel like I need something bright. Alright, so here's the, oh, I got 2 purples, right? So we're going to go 1 more purple. But I was thinking of getting that bright green that I saw in there too. Maybe a bright green and a bright blue. So, we now have 3 with purple. Alright, so let's get this. And the worst part of this is getting it put away. I'm really horrible at putting things away. I cleaned my glass station. Oh, if you were to look behind me, it's beautiful. It is clean, not one piece of glass sticking out. Last night I was supposed to come in here and finish this side, which is the clay and jewelry assembly. But I still got so much stuff from my show that's out, and I just have not been in the mood to do a bunch of sorting. Which, while the World Series was on, I basically took everything out in the living room and sat out with everybody and watched the games. And I got a lot done, actually, so I just need to continue with that. And I guess if this is a little bit bigger than what I want, that's okay. I don't have to cut it all up today, right? So we're just going to add a couple more colors. I'm going to do a brighter blue and a brighter green. And then, of course, we're going to just throw in some different alcohol inks. I'll make a pile more green, maybe another pile purple, and another purple, or another blue one. So that'll be next. I love working with alcohol inks anyways, but and I'm going to sneeze here. Excuse me. All right. Excuse me. Allergies abound today. All right, I think I can get one more. And then my next chore is going to probably be doing some flowers. So if any of these look really good together, instead of just cookie cuttering them, you know what I mean? I might take some of it for a background and make some flower canes, or use some of the flowers that I still have in stock and kind of ghost it a little bit. I think would look really cool. So, see? This is what I mean about ideas. I've had a really hard time with trying to figure out what to do. I don't know why my camera is working so dark. It is really dark in here. But anyways, I figure once you start moving and going and stuff, then you start getting ideas. And they may be silly ideas. Like this is just something silly. You know, it's not really a tutorial unless you haven't seen any of my tutorials, then it is, but it's kind of like the same thing. but hopefully it'll spark. God, this is a really pretty blue. I mean, really pretty. So I'm going to do 2 of those. Okay. And I'm not really worried about how to place them. Okay, so I'm going to do, I'm going to do a green, like a bright green. And then with all these colors, I think gold is going to be something I'm also going to need. And I know that I showed you a very bright green, but now that I'm in here, I can't seem to find it. I think I found it, yep. So we'll do that. So I'm going to do 2 of those, right? No, I don't want pink in this at all. Okay. Okay, so now all I want is, if I can get another 2 golds, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to end up splitting these up, right? So literally, I'm going to need 2 more purples. Hold on a minute. Maybe I'm okay with the purples. Don't really need this one, but I'll put it over there, and I'll put these 3 over there. So I want at least 2 more golds. And the reason for that is I'm going to take this and put it into one, and I'm going to take the greens and the gold. So I'm going to do 1 more gold and 1 more purple. If you call that purple, I think that's more of like a fuchsia. That would be nice if I had more purple. I mean, like a real purple, but I don't. So, see, that seems lighter. Alright, guys, here we go. Now this is purple. Yes, this is purple pink. Okay, so I'm going to do 1 more of those. And I'm going to do some gold. And I had this sitting right up there, didn't even see it. Okay, so let me get 2 more golds. 2 or 3. Which means I need more translucent. And I'm splitting these up because I'm going to put alcohol ink in them. But I'm going to base this one more on blue, base this one more on green, and then I'm going to add both of the piles together when the alcohol ink dries. Okay, it'll make more sense as I do this. All right. So what do I want? I have 2 purples, 2 blues. I have 2 greens, 2 purples, so I just need 1, 2, maybe 3 more golds, right? Yeah. That should be all I need. That's 1. And then this is going to take a while to dry after the alcohol ink is, so I will pause the video and come back when it all dries up. There's 2. And again, this is something else that you use with resin for the most part, because it really gives it the depth. But if I do what I want to do, which is putting a flower on top and just having this as a background, then that one will be buffed and sanded. Because, you know, they're going to end up being lentil beads, right? Because that's the shape that I like the most. when I make freeform beads. I don't like the way round beads fit around the neck when they're kind of big, and I cannot make a small bead for the life of me. So that's why I'm choosing either a lentil or a disc. Alright, so now let's pull this off. And again, if I've got extra, it's not a big deal, because it's all going to get smushed in there anyways, right? So I'll just throw that on the back. Okay, so now we're going to just put all this together. Okay, and then this one is all going to go in here. And that's our second pile. Okay, so as you can see, it's not perfection. It's not really pretty to look at, but it really doesn't matter because you're just going to be cutting these really small. And the reason for that is because this is all going to have alcohol ink on it. So on this one, since it's green, I mean, honestly, guys, if you wanted to use this just on its own, wouldn't that look cool? You know, I'd like to play with that, but I don't want to not have enough for what I'm doing. But yeah, just make this thin and small, and you'd have some really cool striped beads. But we're not doing that today. But again, see, now the ideas are popping. So now I just have to write it down, know what I want to try, because I think that's my biggest issue, is I forget what I'm doing. Okay, so now we got this pile, and this is going to be the green pile. Okay. And this will be the blue pile. One of the easiest tutorials to do is anything with alcohol ink and silver foil. And they make beautiful earrings, no matter what color combos I've used in the past. I think I've only had one that wasn't really great. And that was because the purple mixed with the orange and it turned it this ugly brown. But in everything else, I've never had issues trying to make something like that. Okay, so this right here is our blue pile. All right, and this is our green pile. So now we got to find that perfect blue. And I don't want pearl. You can use pearl. I do have pearl. Or a sailboat blue, which is a really pretty color too. But I don't think the pearl really shows up much. So that's why I'm not really worried about using that one. Okay. So this is our blue. And if you don't want to mess on your table, you could put it on printer paper. You can put this in a plastic bag. It dries up pretty good. And it's not that bad to clean, so I just do it like this. Okay. And then I want a green on the other one. And limeade, limeade might be a little too light. No, actually it's not too bad. So we're going to do that with the lime. It has been so long since I've done anything with alcohol ink. Take a break real quick and blow my nose. Oh, my allergies are just like killing me today. I don't usually get allergies towards winter and fall, so I don't know what's gone out there, but everything is so weird. My pomegranate tree didn't give me one pomegranate this year, and there's one around the block when I take Jake. It's like a bush, but it's like at least 7 feet tall. And that thing is usually covered in pomegranates in September, October, whatever. And there's not one Not one pomegranate this year. So I don't know if pomegranates decide, hey, one year I'm going to give you some fruit, other years, no, I'm not going to do it. Mine's not even 3 feet tall, or it may just be 3 feet tall. My son bought it for me for Mother's Day a couple years ago. And I don't got a whole lot of fruit. So I don't know if it's where it is in the yard. We have our neighbor's trees that kind of tower over into our yard. So I keep cupping it back so that mine will get sun. But our ground out here is really hard. You know, we live in the friggin' desert. So it's not like beautiful, rich soil that I remember from my childhood of where I grew up down in the valley. So it's a whole different thing, right? So this is where you kind of decide, like, well, this is really cool. Do I want to mix the green and the blue? Or do I just want to keep it blue and green? But you know what? I'm going to mix them because I want it to be different. I want it to be something we haven't really done in a while. I'm sure I've done this along the line somewhere. But I'm going to mix them. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get them off this table now. And you don't have to. But I am, because I'm going to clean up all this excess right here. Okay. And if I get it now, then I've got a clean surface to work with when I'm ready to combine all this. Now, depending how much alcohol ink you have on all your stuff, will determine how long it takes to dry. But I'm hoping this doesn't take too long. And yeah, I'm going to get my hands dirty anyways. Okay, so we're just going to grab the blue. Okay, get it out of this big old pile. Okay, and that should help it dry a little faster too. Alright, so there we go. I am going to set this aside on top of all the other mess I have. And now we're just going to clean the table. And then we'll come back to this, I don't know, maybe about an hour. Let that really dry. Yeah, anybody that says alcohol ink is not messy is lying. It's got to be the messiest stuff to work with. But at least it doesn't stick to you, and you can basically clean your hands afterwards without too much of it stuck. Use some Comet, and that takes it right off as well. Alright, so there we go. We have our clean surface, right? So now we are just going to let this sit and lay it out. That's it. So we're going to leave it at that, and then we will come back and see what happens when we put it all together. So I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Hey guys, we are back, and these are pretty much dry. So now we're just going to put them all together here. Okay, so I can make your standard cookie cutter earrings, and I'm going to ask you guys a question. And pretty much the question is, what draws you to a cookie cutter or a polymer clay cutter? What can I make that I don't have that you guys would be interested in, so I can start designing some new cutters? What is your favorite go-to shape when you're making earrings? Mine has always been like a dagger. I don't know why, but I used to use the daggers a lot. And then you just saw me using donuts and a couple other things, because I like those too, right? But I'm finding myself kind of backing off of the cutters because of so many earrings that I have still in stock. and going for more to where I can mix them. You know, I can use checked glass beads with them and just start mixing them a little bit. And yes, Jake is going to bark, and he's going to bark all day. I am going to take him for his walk in about an hour. I don't know when it starts getting dark around here, but I know it's going to be within a couple hours. Yes, I'm still not used to it. It's only been a day. So I've been trying to feed him, obviously, an hour later. Okay, so this is what we got, right? This is our chunk. And the reason I'm making sure that I'm condensing this is to get out any air bubbles that might still be in there. Because as you know, the inside of this is not going to look like the outside. It's going to be mostly translucent. So this would make an absolute wonderful background cane for beads. Which I may end up grabbing some like apple green clay. And this I'm using Prima. I didn't use Kato. Kind of going back and forth between the two. So I can roll this into a log if I decide that I want to use this for a background cane. I do have an idea already for our next video. So I'm really happy that the creativity is kind of like coming. Okay. So if I wanted to use regular cookie cutters, okay, this is what we're looking at. And even though it doesn't look like anything right now, that's because it hasn't been baked and there's no resin on top, which is really going to showcase what we're doing. And I don't know if I made these a little too thin, so I'm going to put that aside for a minute. Okay, I'm going to take 2 more chunks that I'm hoping is like at a number 1. That one's a little thicker than it should have been. Okay, that's a little thinner than it should have been. Okay, so we're just going to do that. And all we're doing is melding them together. See, and if we have to get this to be as thick as that, can always come in here and just put that on top. Okay, I'm going to put this through at a number 0, which is our thickest. Same with this. Okay. Because I don't like my earrings really thin, but if there's going to be resin on top of this, right? So we can come down and take it down to maybe like a number 2. Okay. And we're going to do the same with that one. Okay. So again, it's what shape do I want to use for this? Love those colors. I'm not really big on hearts. So again, I have my regular daggers because these are the ones that I use most of the time. You know, you could even use, yeah, you guys can use any color cutters you want, right? It's just me that has the worst time figuring this out. I always go back to the same ones, and I'm really trying to get out of that. So those look cute too, okay? So, yeah, it's either I use this big one right here and just make 2, or I use 2 of those but anyways, this is what we're going with, right? And again, oh, actually I'm not using Kato, so these should not stick. Which has been an issue. Okay, so there's 2. And that one wants to come out. And I don't want it out. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna wait on that. And I'll show you what we're gonna do. So we're just gonna take all of the extra like this. All right. And we're going to piece it all back together. Get a little more control over it this way. I've got this extra one right here. It's already cut out. So I might as well just add it to it. Right. This looks a little different. These are a lot longer than these. Yeah, I know. I'm just throwing them together here. But that's okay. That's all I need to do. This one, I think I can do 2 daggers. So, do one there. Okay, and that one there. I definitely like the colors. Okay, so I don't want to thin that out too much. So that's when I just want to use like paper or something, which I can't find in front of me, so I'm going to grab some deli sheets. Which to me don't work as well as notebook paper or printer paper. And it always leaves a mark. I don't know where half of my notebook paper goes because I use them for a project and I don't throw them away, but I can never find them after using them. Okay, and you'll be able to feel underneath how straight and even they are. I just love this color. I really, really do. I'm just not sure if I'm happy with the shape. Okay, and then you can just pull those out And you can do it one more time if you want, right? But every time that you do this and then lay them back down in order to get them flat, you're thinning it out every single time. So when it gets to that point, I just put it on top. And then I can just roll those out. Okay, so on these are going to be ready to throw in the oven. Ah, yes, I did that, didn't I? Alright, I might have to fix that one by hand. There we go. Okay. Put these two on there. This is literally minimal work. Because this you just want to sand a little bit. I know some people don't even sand it when they're putting resin on top. But I like to at least sand with the 400 grit. And get the top nice and smooth. This one's going to have a lot more sparkle, as you can see. But if I can get, what other shape would I like for this? Let's see if I can find a better shape. Again, I'm going to a 1, and then I'll do it one more time at a 2, because there will be resin on top. I mean, you could even do something like this and add a gold ring to the top. Or you could do something funky. Or you could just be boring, which is what I'm probably going to end up being. So here's another kind of dagger. But I don't like that. Yeah, I'm starting to... I've used my rollers, or my cutters so many times that I'm getting tired of the same ones. That's why I'd really like to find, I don't know, something else to use. So we're going to see how that works, right? And if I'm lucky, I will find the other half to that. Because it is mirrored. Perfect. Okay, so this is the one that I've used. So this is the other side. Nice and perfect, right? Okay. So there we go. So those are going to be our basic cutter earrings. And there's no way that's going to work for the top. It's too small. So if I can make 2 circles, then that would be great. I just got to find my little circle cutter that I used this morning. And wouldn't you know it, I can't find it, which is typical. Well, we can do something different. And let's make a square instead of a circle. Alright. Okay. So there we go. We used up pretty much all of it. Okay. So, the other thing I was thinking, I don't know if I want to use this as a base though. My hands are a mess. Hey, Jake. It's all good. I think it's time to take him for his walk. Okay, this just needs a little more. And I'm just going to take it off the back. So if you don't want your basic cookie cutter backings on them, right? Just cut thin pieces, but you don't want them too thin because you don't want to sand them off, right? And this is really thin. Okay. Okay. And you're just going to cut it, right? Add it to the sides. Might be able to add this whole thing, right? Okay, so there's one. Let's see if I can get that lucky. And again, make sure you have better blades than what I'm using. I don't know why I'm using this one. But you want that sharp blade. Okay, so just pick that up to fill up that side. And then I just have this to fill up right here. And if you don't fill it up, it's okay because you're going to put flowers over it anyways. So now, let me see if I have a bright flower to use. Okay, are these about the same size? No, not really. Okay, that looks better, right? Maybe a little more. All right, I'm gonna go grab some yellow flowers and I'll show you what we're gonna do. I'll be right back. Okay, so now it's trying to figure out what flower you want to use with this, right? So this is a really pretty orangey yellow flower. And I'm just going to worry about one end on this. And this has been sitting for a while, so I might have to condition it just a little bit. All right. Ghost flowers would look pretty good as well. I do have a ghost yellow and white. Or you could do plain white. And translucent would look really good too. Okay, so I'm going to cut this about right there. I may not use this. Right now I'm just going to see what it looks like. Okay. Let's get rid of that blade and get into something else here. Alright. So again, you're going to want a really thin flower. But if you're not wearing your glasses, wear your glasses. You may not see where you're cutting it. Okay, so you have that. I'm not sure I like that. I think we're going to go ghost all the way. I don't know if I want to do white. Alright, let me just cut a little piece off of this. Now when you do translucent ghost flowers, just remember the longer you hold on to them, the yellow that comes from the inside is going to start to spread to the outside. And that can give you a whole different look. It's not good when it sticks to your fingers. Try that again. Okay. So I'm going to take 3. I'm just going to drop them anywhere. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and I'm going to go grab some white ones. And we're going to see how that looks. I have a video on how to make these ghost flowers. I can't tell you where it is exactly, but it should say ghost in the title if you want to do a search like that. Okay. So now I'm going to do what we always do. And we're going to make sure that the flower is flush. How you'll know that it's flush is you see this little line right here, right there. That's it, not quite inside the rest of the clay. So you don't want to see the outline of the flower at all. So just keep doing that. See, and pretty soon you won't see it at all. So it does take a little bit of time sometimes. That's why I go really thin. And make sure that you're cutting the same size for both of these. Or if you're making earrings, one will be smaller. Okay, so let me grab some white real quick. Now you could either go big or small. It's so much easier if I just cut it. And then I have to remember to adjust my inventory, because these all should be on sale or on the site. I don't know about my ghost canes, but they should be. If not, I will make some if anybody wants them. Okay, so these are just a little bit smaller. Okay. So again, just make sure you're getting nice and thin, but not thin to where you're cutting through the flower, like I just did twice. Okay, I'm gonna put that right there. These are a little mushy. Okay, I'm just filling up like the gaps. And the funny thing is we're not going to see how this is going to look until it comes out of the oven. So there's 1, 2, 3. Oh, nope, went right through that one. 3 and 4. Okay, and again, I'm just sticking them anywhere. And sure, why not? They're not going to match. They never do. All right. So now we're going to do the same thing and make sure it's all nice and flush. So I'm going to be off camera as I'm just rolling it. Okay, now because the white ones were so much thinner, they are pretty much already into that bead. Okay. So we're going to go 2 seconds more. Okay. And that's when we do that. Now again, they don't look like anything. Okay. And I get that. All right. So I'm going to look at this one. Okay, do a final push on these here. And I'm using a fair amount of pressure too. Not too much because you don't want to distort it, but enough. Okay. And it depends on how flat you want these. Okay. So there we go. So before I go, oh, of course, I don't have my hole maker in here. So it's going to have to wait till it comes out. Okay, so let me make sure these are completely round. And I just do this back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And then push it down. Same with this. Make sure it's perfectly round. And push it down. Okay. This looks a little flatter than this one. And a little smaller. Alright, so there we go. This is why you have to make a whole bunch of them, right? Alright, let's go get those in the oven. We'll see you in about an hour. I might sand them and everything before I talk to you again. And we'll let you know what they look like. See you in a bit. Alrighty guys, so we are back to finish what we started. And I'm only going to put resin on a couple of these. So I sanded these at a 400 grit. So you know, that's all you really need if you're going to put resin on top. So I'm going to do these, and I think those trapezoid ones. Or these, I don't know. Maybe I'll do all 3 pairs. So there's one. I got the square. The only problem with, I use the resin from, oh, what is her name? I can't even remember her supply store. But her name was Rhonda. She's out of business now, and she had literally the best resin. It never peeled from the side, but it takes 30 minutes to cure. So that's the only problem with it. But anyways, make sure that I cleaned out the center of all those. So all I need is one more little square. And 2 little pieces right here. I know, I should probably wash this in clean water. I got a nice clean wet towel, so I'm hoping that'll help, right? Alright, so I got this little piece that's stuck right here on the side. It's the only thing that wouldn't come off during sanding. Okay, so this is it. Now, the last time I used this, though, there was something wrong with it. I don't know what happened. So here, let me hit pause. All right, so now I got a different container. I've never seen resin go bad if you don't use it. But the small bottle that I have at this doesn't seem to work as good. So, we're going to try this stuff. Now, obviously... Okay, wait, I'm missing that. Where did that piece go? I should have one more of those. And I know you can't really see what they look like. They look very dull and ugly. They're a lot darker than I thought they would be. So it's going to be interesting to see what it looks like once the resin hits it. But that's what we're waiting for, right? So I usually start from the center and work my way out. And I will probably be doing both sides. Now on these, I'll just do the middle so that it doesn't run down the center. Be careful that you don't put too much or it will run through the center and then you'll just have a sticky mess. Okay. I have not used resin in so long. Okay. And then if you need more, you can always add more. Okay. So now I just need a toothpick. And we'll start with this little guy. So I usually grab one toothpick. That one holds it as I'm working. So it's going to take me a little bit of time to do all of these. So once I finish with this one, I'm going to hit pause, add more resin if need be, put a lighter on it, get rid of some of the air bubbles, and we'll be ready to go. So I'll see you in a bit. Alrighty guys, so I took the time while everything was under the UV lamp to clean up my workstation. So look at that, I did something. So I still got a resin on the other side of these, but I'll show you the difference of what it looks like. And I know that my light in here is horrible. So I'll try and get you the best view that I can. Okay, but those are those green ones. Those are really pretty. And you can tell from the back to the front just how much it changes by the resin. But my thing is, I'm tired of just cookie cutters because they're a dime a dozen. It seems like that's all that everybody is selling. That's why I'm into the lentils and stuff like that. It's mainly because it's a little bit of sculpting, and if I'm using my own canes, you know, they're not going to be like everybody else's. They're going to be a little bit different, right? So that's where I am leaning. So with that, I am going to resin the other side, but I wanted to come and show you what those look like. So now this one you can hook up either way you want. You could hook it up that way to close it off, or you can hook it up that way. And if you feel that that's just way too long, you could even put one of these squares on here, right? Which is different. It's a different shape, right? But you can also add on that, or you can do nothing with this and just basically put your hole in and put one of those bail clasps on it, and bingo, you have a pair of earrings just like that. So that's the second video. I hope you guys like that. I am going to resin these, And I don't know. I guess put them into a pair of earrings. And that's it. You guys have a great night. Oh, so on the end of these, remember, I can't find the other earring. Again, I had 2 earrings that went flying. One was from the last video, one was from this. So I use this as a background, and I don't like it at all. I think if I were to take this right here and put white on the other side and cover the white, it probably would have been a lot brighter. So I'm going to try that now, and on the next video I'll show you the difference. But that's kind of what it looked like. And these are already buffed, ready to go, but I'm not real happy with the color. So I'm going to let you guys go, and we're going to do some flowers and a ghost leaf, a green one, and we're going to do a fuchsia and translucent background. So see you in a little bit. Thanks. Bye.